What's poppin', y'all? I wanted to do more of a stream of thought on this video instead of a structured topic. There is still a structured topic, which is TikTok and its influence on music, why I believe it's so great, the ban, the unban, whatever the case is in between those. I did a long documentary on what led up to the banning of TikTok, which you guys should check out. I'll have that in the description. It took me over 6 months. I have insider information, all of that stuff. I just couldn't really divulge my sources because of how close they are to the situation. But I wanted to get into this conversation about people that were somewhat happy about TikTok and TikTok music and why I think they're so terribly misinformed. So I sent the tweet out and we still don't know the outcome of TikTok. I think it's going to stay, but regardless, I said the TikTok ban is absolutely going to destroy music discoverability. Any fan who thinks this is going to, quote, make things better is a fool who's stuck in the past days of forums, SoundCloud reposts, and underground centralization. One of the most recurring comments for people that are excited about this is that, oh, TikTok put out so much trash music. Like, there is, and this is the thing, people still think that there is this almighty gatekeeper that chooses and plucks a viral song into existence. That hasn't been a thing for quite a while. That's outside of the industry. So if a song bubbles up and blows up on TikTok, it is because there is enough engagement, enough spreading of the song on the platform, and then for it to spread outside of the platform. Because there are songs that have a really, let's say, a large amount of video creations, but it doesn't necessarily translate to Spotify streams. And I have a friend who's gone through something like this. I may interview him. In the past, he's had a song do very, very well via a lot of videos. And then after that, it's not that it didn't do well, but it didn't translate the way people thought. With that being said, if something blows up on TikTok, it's because people like it. And it doesn't matter if you like it. And this is the problem. A lot of people think because they don't like something, it sucks or it's trash. And like I said, this is the most dense. It's just such an idiotic one singular person, everyone else in the world is an NPC type of mentality that probably keeps them restricted from understanding why things blow up. If you want to blame TikTok on trash music, show me an era prior to TikTok where there wasn't garbage music that blew up like crazy. Well, you want to go all the way back? Like, people hate Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby. That was before we even had the internet that song was really popular. And why was it popular? Because people really enjoyed it. It doesn't matter if you think it sucks. We had terrible songs that blew up. Ringtone era, do we want to go back to that? How many songs charted really high? So 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s even. There are plenty of songs that were huge. Hey, Friday was one of the biggest songs ever by Rebecca Black. That went viral. Oh, you could say people hated it, but people hated it enough to continue listening to it. And a lot of people closeted enjoyed that song. It was a guilty pleasure of theirs. So this trash music idea is, we need to toss that to the side because number one, not only is music subjective, but if something is blowing up, a song is blowing up, it's because people enjoy it. Doesn't matter if you enjoy it or not. Number two is the discoverability. People saying, oh, there's IG Reels, there's YouTube Shorts. If you haven't created, and this is the thing, I've seen both sides. Like I've worked, I don't really talk about this stuff, but I've seen both sides where artists are posting on there and trying to blow up, and the side where the consumer is listening to the songs or looking for music. TikTok is an audio first platform. It is 100% based on sounds. And I said this in 2019 when I first predicted that TikTok was going to be the biggest thing ever for music. When you go on IG, the consumer that is on IG was not bred for sounds. Which is why if you look at the performance of, let's say, an IG reel, like the IG reel sound that has a ton of plays or uses or mixes or whatever you want to call it, versus the ones on TikTok, I guarantee you which ones are going to have more streams. It's the ones on TikTok because IG built such a massive audience base, hundreds of millions, maybe even over 1 billion on photo and then on video and then on reels, which is content. And the audio is supplementary. It's not the main focus, which is why TikTok had such an issue with UMG and why it was a scary thing when they blocked music, because people were like, yo, the content sucks without the music. Content on IG without music wouldn't really be hurt that much. You could say the same thing about YouTube, right? People watch YouTube for content. Now, music is an element of why people are on YouTube, but it's not the primary driver. How many videos have you watched on YouTube without music? TikTok initially, it was Musical.ly. So Musical.ly was just lip syncing to music, and then it transitioned to TikTok, and it was mainly audio first music. And then after a while, after a couple of years, it became a platform where just regular content creation could occur when they tried to start competing with YouTube and other platforms like Facebook. And they ended up winning in terms of being the most popular, most visited. They were the #1 application and website past YouTube. I would say after Google. I don't know if they passed Google, but I know that they passed YouTube and were right behind Google. So they were able to do that, and it's always an audio first platform. So a lot of people in those years before, like a lot of regular content creators, I guess you could say, that just maybe talk, do some skits, etc., got on the platform, people became used to finding new artists on TikTok. And the discoverability algorithm on TikTok is so much different from YouTube, Twitter, we're not even going to talk about, and Instagram, in that it can spread quickly. So for instance, if someone is a particular artist and they put out a TikTok and it does very well and it resonates with people, people are incentivized to remix that. On IG, it's not the same. And TikTok also incentivizes people to post more. Whereas Instagram has this, not perception, but we hold Instagram, especially if it's a person's personal profile, to this standard of, oh, I can't post, it's a highlight reel. I have to curate this. As opposed to, hey, let me just post for fun, like what Twitter used to be. Twitter is now becoming a little bit more curated with how good the algorithm is at boosting great posts. So it's not this constant stream of thought that it always used to be. But TikTok, people just throw up anything and then maybe they delete it later, but they don't care too much about the feed because they're not looking at people's feed. They're scrolling the For You page. And this is as somebody who I've probably spent less than 3 hours in 5+ years, 6 years maybe, how long I've been using TikTok. But I can identify, like I did business on TikTok. Someone said, oh, I thought you hated TikTok on Twitter. And I replied, nah, I never hated TikTok. I have videos from early 2019 saying it's going to be the biggest thing for music. However, I never used it as a consumer because I knew it would be bad for me. That doesn't mean I think it's bad in general or deserves to be banned. And the problem is people don't sit and think where the music that they are discovering is coming from. It's going to come from two places. Either someone recommends it to you, whether that is a friend, whether that is a quote unquote influencer, whether that's a song playing somewhere, an algorithm, in this case, maybe a Spotify algorithm, YouTube shows something to you, or it's going to be you constantly digging and seeking for music. So you're hunting everywhere. The latter is a very, very, very tiny minority, and those people would never complain about TikTok sucking because they use TikTok as a discovery platform, and they found a lot of small artists that majority of us have probably never even heard of yet, but they enjoy their music. And this is the thing. People are thinking, oh, TikTok has all these trash artists and it puts all these trash music, because they're judging TikTok by the songs that penetrated past, let's say, the layer of independence and being known by their fan base into everybody hearing about the song. So now they're judging it by the mainstream songs. So if you found out about a song that's mainstream, that doesn't mean that there weren't other, let's just say another 100, 200, 300 TikTok songs, quote unquote, that were great by really talented artists, by bedroom artists that are in different genres, not just hip hop or not even just pop. And there are so many of these guys that made it off of TikTok, have built Spotify followings because of TikTok, and their creativity was rewarded. And then now, if TikTok is supposed to be banned, the algorithms just aren't incentivized for their music to spread as quickly as it would. It becomes very centralized to you and your followers, and they can still grow, but the viral aspect is not there. Like, show me a single song in the past. They even did in the documentary that I did on TikTok. It shows you how many of the top 10 or I think it was top 10 Hot 100 songs were because of TikTok, and that the trend started on TikTok. So it happens on TikTok, then it spreads elsewhere. Show me some songs in the past 5 or 6 years, especially hit songs that blew up first on Instagram and then moved to any other platform. It doesn't happen. Or that blew up first on YouTube, then moved to another platform. It does not happen. And if it does, it's because there was money put behind it. And this is the thing. A lot of you guys start to see new artists and you think you're being fed it by a curator or a tastemaker, whatever the case may be, or maybe like a bunch of blogs, but it was really seeded and a lot of money was put behind this artist. So it's an industry artist and there's nothing wrong with that. But you think, oh man, this artist is blowing up, this and that, like I'm catching him while he's small. Nah, they already caught him. The money was already put behind him and he was put in front of you, and you think you're discovering it when you're really not. So you're comparing that to where an artist could, on their own, without much money, get lit on TikTok, get a poppin' song, and be able to make it. So if if you support artists and independent artists, how could you possibly want this avenue taken away and think it's going to benefit them whatsoever? And it's definitely not going to benefit you, because what's the alternative? Because if you're talking about IG Reels, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, those are all just attempting to copy the model that TikTok originated. And the algorithm, like I said, it's optimized to serve people what they want to keep them on the platform. So if it's being rewarded, then that's the content that people want to see. It's not some almighty, oh, we're going to push this in front of you. If it was trash content, you cannot push trash content in front of people enough to keep them on the platform. They're just going to get off eventually. And the problem here is that a lot of the consumers, they're not even thinking about the artist. They're just thinking, yeah, you know, I could find music in other ways. If you're the latter that I spoke about earlier, which is you're actually hunting for music, yes, you can. The former, they're not hunting for music. And I'm not saying you got to be hunting for music. You ain't got the time like that. For me, it's difficult for me to really find music or spend as much time as I did when I was like a teenager or a preteen, because I had nothing but time to spend on music. But now I've got so many other things to do. So it's even difficult for me to hunt for artists. But let's just look at certain artists that people mess with heavy, right? You've got like this Two Hollis guy. He's going to blow up. It's bound to happen. People really mess with his music. People are going to his shows. He got on because of TikTok. And this guy's been making music for who knows how long, probably a very long time, at least 6+ years. And he's polished his music and gotten better. This is a guy that blew up because of TikTok. A lot of people enjoy the music. I mean, you could check it out. It's really not for me, but I can see where the appeal is. There are other artists that blew up off, a lot of the underground rappers are blowing up off of TikTok. And I like it because you don't need funding. You just have some creativity, some decent music, some good catchy music, and you'll get on eventually. And there's this hope that's always there on TikTok. It is really a meritocracy to a degree, and the algorithm had only gotten better. So the whole garbage music debate, it's tired. I already dismantled that earlier in the video. And I think the consumer needs to think about it from the artist's perspective. If you are the artist, like sure, you as the consumer may be able to discover music, good luck. But if you're an artist that makes great music, do this thought experiment, consumer. If you're an artist that makes great music, you don't really have much money like that, you're working a regular job, lay out a plan for them to get discovered where the best outcome or the best vehicle is not TikTok. And please explain how it's gonna work. You'll stumble and you'll have no idea how to give them an explanation. You'll be like, oh, just do this, when it doesn't work because you've never done it yourself and you've never worked with somebody that's done it. So that's where I kind of want a little bit of empathy to be provided towards artists. By empathy, I mean just understanding where they're coming from as a consumer. And then you would have a completely different take on the TikTok situation. Not to mention all the people that are just losing their income source. I would never want that for anybody. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.